calculations for the RV site electrical system appear correct based on Table 551.73 of the National Electrical Code. Each RV site with a 30 amp supply requires a 3600 volt amps load. Using the diversity factor of 42%, the total load for 30 sites is 45,360 volt amps. Dividing 45,360 volt amps by 240 volts results in 189 amps per leg. A 400 amp service allows a maximum allowable amperage of 200 amps per leg. The calculated 189 amps per leg falls within that allowable limit. The use of 100 amp breakers with number 2 THHW wire is acceptable because number 2 THHW wire is rated for 90 amps. The millbank disconnects with feed-through lugs are suitable for use at RV parks. Ensure each subpanel has enough capacity to handle the load of the connected RV sites. It is essential to install a proper grounding system in accordance with the National Electrical Code. Label all electrical panels, disconnects, and circuit breakers clearly for easy identification and maintenance. Regular inspections of the electrical system should occur for safety and maintenance purposes. If there's a possibility of future expansion, install a service with sufficient capacity to accommodate additional RV sites. Install GFCI protection at all RV sites to prevent electrical shocks. Ensure adequate lighting throughout the RV park for safety and security. Consider using energy-efficient appliances and lighting fixtures to reduce operating costs. To further expand on these points, let's delve into each aspect in more detail. Firstly, consider the calculation of the electrical load. The NEC provides guidelines for calculating the minimum electrical service requirements for RV parks. Table 551.73, as mentioned, is crucial for determining the demand factors for RV sites. The table accounts for the diversity of usage among the sites. Not all RV will be drawing their maximum amperage simultaneously. This diversity factor allows for a reduction in the overall service size, preventing unnecessary oversizing and cost. When applying the demand factors, be meticulous in ensuring all potential loads are considered. This includes not only the 30 amp and 20 amp receptacles but also any other amenities that might draw power from the service. Examples are lighting, laundry facilities, recreational buildings, or swimming pool equipment. Accurately calculating the total load is the foundation for selecting the appropriate service size, conductors, and overcurrent protection devices. Secondly, look at the disconnects and overcurrent protection. The disconnects serve as a critical safety feature. They allow for the complete isolation of individual RV sites or groups of sites for maintenance or emergency purposes. The disconnects must be readily accessible and clearly labeled to avoid confusion. The overcurrent protection devices, such as circuit breakers, protect the wiring and equipment from overloads and short circuits. It is important to select the correct breaker size for the conductor and capacity. The number 2 THHW wire, rated for 90 amps, is suitable for a 100 amp breaker only if the specific installation conditions and equipment ratings permit. Always consult the NEC and manufacturer's specifications to ensure compliance. The use of feed-through lugs in the disconnect simplifies the wiring and allows for daisy-chaining multiple sites from a single circuit. However, make sure the lugs are properly sized for the conductors being used and that they are taut to the manufacturer's specifications. Thirdly, the adequate subpanels is important. Each subpanel should have a sufficient capacity rating to accommodate the total load of the RV sites it serves. Consider the potential for future expansion when selecting the subpanel size. It is generally better to oversize the subpanel slightly to allow for additional capacity. Ensure that the subpanels are properly grounded and bonded in accordance with the NEC. This is essential for preventing electrical shock hazards. Fourthly, the proper grounding system needs to be installed. A properly installed grounding system is crucial for safety. It provides a low impedance path for fault current to return to the source, which helps to trip over current protection devices and prevent electrical shocks. The grounding system should consist of a grounding electrode system, a grounding electrode conductor, and equipment grounding conductors. The grounding electrode system typically includes ground rods, ground rings, or metal underground water pipes. The grounding electrode conductor connects the grounding electrode system to the service equipment. Equipment grounding conductors connect the non-current carrying metal parts of electrical equipment to the grounding system. This ensures that these parts are at ground potential, minimizing the risk of electric shock. Fifthly, the labeling is very important. Clear and accurate labeling is essential for the safe and efficient operation of the RV park's electrical system. All electrical panels, disconnects, and circuit breakers should be labeled with their function and the areas they serve. This helps to prevent confusion and ensures that maintenance personnel can quickly identify and isolate circuits. The labels should be durable and weather-resistant to withstand the outdoor environment. Sixthly, the inspections. Regular inspections of the electrical system are necessary to identify and address potential safety hazards and maintenance issues. The inspection should be performed by a qualified electrician. The electrician should check for loose connections, damaged wiring, corroded equipment, and any other signs of wear or deterioration. Any identified issues should be promptly repaired or replaced. Seventhly, think about the future. Planning for future expansion is a smart investment. If there is a possibility of adding more RV sites in the future, it is wise to install a service with sufficient capacity to accommodate the additional load. This can save money and disruption in the long run. When planning for future expansion, consider the potential demand for higher amperage services. Some RV may require 50 amp or even 100 amp service. Providing a mix of service options can attract a wider range of RVers. 8. Use GFCI protection. Ground fault circuit interrupter protection is critical for preventing electrical shocks in RV parks. GFCIs are designed to detect small imbalances in current, which can indicate a ground fault. When a ground fault is detected, the GFCI will quickly trip the circuit, cutting off the power and preventing a potentially fatal shock. The NEC requires GFCI protection for all 120-volt receptacles in RV parks. This includes the 20 amp and 30 amp receptacles at each RV site. GFCIs should be tested regularly to ensure they are functioning properly. Ninth is the adequate lighting. Adequate lighting is essential for safety and security throughout the RV park. Lighting should be provided along roadways, walkways, and in common areas. The lighting should be bright enough to allow people to see clearly, but not so bright as to cause glare or nuisance. Consider using energy-efficient lighting fixtures, such as LED lights, to reduce operating costs. 10th is the energy efficiency. Energy efficiency is an important consideration for RV parks. By using energy-efficient appliances and lighting fixtures, RV parks can reduce their operating costs and minimize their environmental impact. Encourage RVers to use energy-efficient appliances and practices as well. This can include using energy-efficient refrigerators, air conditioners, and water heaters. It can also include turning off lights and appliances when they are not in use. Overall, the electrical system design and installation for an RV park requires careful planning and attention to detail. By following the NEC guidelines, considering future expansion, and implementing safety measures, you can create a safe and reliable electrical system for your RV park. In addition to the previously mentioned points, consider the voltage drop. Voltage drop is the decrease in voltage that occurs along a conductor due to its resistance. Excessive voltage drop can cause equipment to malfunction and can even damage electrical components. The NEC specifies the maximum allowable voltage drop for branch circuits and feeders. To minimize voltage drop, use conductors that are large enough for the load and the distance they will be carrying the current. You can also use multiple conductors in parallel to reduce the resistance. Consider surge protection. Surges are transient voltage spikes that can damage electrical equipment. Surges can be caused by lightning strikes, power outages, or other events. Surge protection devices can help to protect your RV park's electrical system from surges. Surge protection devices should be installed at the service entrance and at any sub-panels. Consider the use of a power management system. A power management system can help to monitor and control the electrical loads in your RV park. This can help to prevent overloads and ensure that the electrical system is operating efficiently. A power management system can also provide valuable data about energy consumption. Consider the local codes and regulations. In addition to the NEC, there may be local codes and regulations that apply to RV park electrical systems. Be sure to check with your local authorities to ensure that you are in compliance with all applicable requirements. A final thought is the ongoing maintenance. Proper maintenance is essential for the long-term reliability and safety of the RV park's electrical system. Establish a regular maintenance schedule that includes inspections, testing, and repairs. Keep records of all maintenance activities. By following these tips, you can create a safe, reliable, and efficient electrical system for your RV park. Remember that electricity can be dangerous, so always consult with a qualified electrician for any electrical work. Ensure you have proper insurance coverage. Electrical systems in RV parks can be subject to damage from weather, accidents, or other events. Make sure you have adequate insurance coverage to protect your investment. This coverage should include property damage, liability, and business interruption. Property damage coverage will protect the physical assets of the RV park, including the electrical system. Liability coverage will protect the RV park from claims of injury or property damage caused by the electrical system. Business interruption coverage will help to cover lost income if the RV park is forced to close due to damage to the electrical system. Consider the placement of electrical equipment. The placement of electrical equipment can impact safety and accessibility. Electrical panels and disconnects should be located in areas that are easily accessible for maintenance and inspection. They should also be protected from physical damage and exposure to the elements. Avoid placing electrical equipment in areas that are prone to flooding or where there is a risk of being struck by vehicles. Consider the use of underground wiring. Underground wiring can improve the aesthetics of the RV park and reduce the risk of damage from storms or accidents. However, underground wiring can also be more expensive to install and maintain. When using underground wiring, be sure to use the proper type of cable and bury it at the correct depth. Also, be sure to mark the location of the underground wiring to prevent accidental damage during digging or construction. Consider the needs of disabled RVers. The Americans with Disabilities Act, ADA, requires that RV parks be accessible to people with disabilities. This includes ensuring that electrical hookups are accessible to people who use wheelchairs or other mobility devices. Electrical panels and disconnects should be located at a height that is reachable from a wheelchair. Also, the path to the electrical hookup should be clear and unobstructed. Consider the impact on the environment. RV parks can have an impact on the environment. When designing and installing the electrical system, take steps to minimize the environmental impact. This can include using energy-efficient equipment, reducing energy consumption, and preventing pollution. Also, be sure to dispose of electrical waste properly. Used batteries, fluorescent lamps, and other electrical components should be recycled or disposed of in accordance with local regulations. Consider the use of smart technology. Smart technology can be used to improve the efficiency and safety of the RV park's electrical system. Smart meters can be used to track energy consumption and identify areas where energy can be saved. Smart lighting can be used to automatically adjust the brightness of lights based on occupancy and ambient light levels. Smart surge protectors can provide real-time monitoring of voltage and current and can automatically disconnect power in the event of a surge. Consider the importance of documentation. Proper documentation is essential for the safe and efficient operation of the RV park's electrical system. Keep detailed records of all electrical work, including installation, repairs, and maintenance. This documentation should include wiring diagrams, equipment specifications, and test results. The documentation should be stored in a safe and accessible location. Consider the use of renewable energy sources. Renewable energy sources such as solar panels and wind turbines can be used to reduce the RV park's reliance on fossil fuels and lower energy costs. Solar panels can be used to generate electricity for lighting, heating, and cooling. Wind turbines can be used to generate electricity for the entire RV park. Consider the potential for energy storage. Energy storage systems can be used to store excess energy generated by renewable energy sources or during off-peak hours. This stored energy can then be used during peak hours or during power outages. Energy storage systems can help to improve the reliability and efficiency of the RV park's electrical system. By carefully considering all of these factors, you can design and install an electrical system that meets the needs of your RV park and provides a safe and enjoyable experience for your guests.